Now, by the late 1930s, Churchill was distrusted by all three parties. In addition to the fact he'd twice crossed the floor, the Conservatives distrusted him because of his opposition to constitutional reform in India and to the policy of appeasement. The Liberals and the Labour Party distrusted him because of his advocacy of rearmament, while the Labour Party also distrusted him because of his stance during the general strike. But by a remarkable paradox, this man, distrusted by all three parties, became in 1940 the symbol of national unity. And the degree to which he became a symbol of national unity is clearly illustrated by the Gallup polls, which had begun operations in Britain in 1937. Until May 1940, perhaps surprisingly, Neville Chamberlain had enjoyed majority support in answer to the question of how satisfied are you with the Prime Minister. His support was around 55%. In July 1940, Churchill enjoyed 88% support. His support reached a peak of 93% in December 1942 and in June and August 1943. And in only 1 month in the war did satisfaction in his premiership fall below 80%. Now, all this, of course, was a consequence of Hitler. If Hitler had kept to the promise that he'd made to Neville Chamberlain in 1938, that these Sudeten areas of Czechoslovakia were his last territorial claim in Europe, or even better, if Hitler had been assassinated, Churchill's career would have ended in failure. A brilliant failure like his father, but a failure. On one occasion during the war, Churchill began what seemed like an interminable monologue about Hitler with his ministerial colleague and successor as Prime Minister but one, Harold Macmillan. Macmillan began to tire of the monologue. "You mustn't be so critical of Hitler," he said. "What?" said Churchill. "I hope you are not going to ask me to speak sympathetically about that man," which was the term he always used to refer to Hitler. "No," replied Macmillan, "but it took Hitler to make you Prime Minister. No one else could have done it." "Well, perhaps there is something in that," Churchill growled.